Welcome to Disney A, the Canadian-themed Disney travel podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Krysta. Thank you for pointing, as always. I have to say it because no one else knows that you're pointing. We're back.
I was pointing for you. You
don't
have to
say
it.
No, I appreciate it. I want everyone to know that you were pointing for me.
Well, you say we're back. I never left. I've been sitting not 2 feet away 12 hours a day. 7 days a week, it feels like.
That's why we didn't record last week.
Yeah.
You were working the whole time.
I'm going through it right now.
The whole time.
But
we were able to sneak in one for today, so.
Sneak it in. I actually had my first real day off today. I didn't work at all today.
It's Saturday.
It is Saturday.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
You worked last Saturday.
Allegedly, it is Saturday.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
I am going to open up a delicious blackberry White Claw.
Nice.
Because it is
very hot.
We're in the grips of a heat wave here.
We are. It's only getting worse for the next week or so. And I'm going to have, I don't know what you brought me.
It is a lemon lime radler.
Ooh, excellent. I said I wanted to try this. Yum. That tastes really good.
We're hiding in our basement from the sun right now.
We just came in from the sun,
though. We're enjoying it, but...
We enjoy it, and then we need, not to record in the heat.
Just cool down.
Yeah, exactly. What is your nerd thing this week, or is it just work has commandeered everything?
Well, yeah. I've been working a lot, and I never thought I'd be in the middle of a business thing that the government would have to weigh in on and be so important to that I have to work nonstop for 2 weeks straight. But apparently that's where we are at. So I don't know. I'm wearing my new company's hat right now. We changed names, so there you go.
There you go. And you're still kind of in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Oh, I was kind of hoping it was already in the getting better side. No. Okay. All right. Good to know. My nerd thing, I have been playing a lot of my games and reading and being summary.
You're the opposite of me.
Yeah.
You have been not working at all because it's your summer.
Exactly.
That's exciting.
It is, and I've been doing all the things that get put off. I've been doing a bunch of yard work and that kind of stuff.
You've been making good use of your time.
Oh yeah. I don't feel bad about it at all.
No, nor should you. You've been taking good care of me while my mental health has taken a hit. So there you go.
I'm gonna ask you a question. You can be honest. Would it be easier or harder you doing this crazy hours of working right now with me not working?
Oh, I would much rather have you not work at all.
You're really glad this hit during the summer?
I don't feel any jealousy when you're not working because if I'm not working, I'm super lazy. You're not, and you do a lot of good, useful stuff.
Thanks.
So,
but also relaxy things.
You relax. You definitely relax, but you make my life easier too. So that's
good. Yay.
So
if this is going to happen, it's good it didn't happen during the school year.
When my alarm goes off and you're sleeping peacefully with your kitty cat on your face, I'm not mad about it. It's fine.
Yeah. The one morning that happened and you went and found a, one of those spa eye cover things so I could sleep in even more.
Well, yeah, because the sun gets up a little early these days.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay, good. Because I was like, would this be easier if I was working right now?
No. It'd be much worse.
Okay, well then I guess it's good it hit when it did. And it's good it didn't hit in August when we're going to be in Disney.
Yeah, because then I wouldn't be going to Disney.
Yeah, so really, this is basically, I know it's not a good situation, but if it was going to happen, this is as good a timing as it can be.
Fingers crossed it'll calm down enough that I can go and enjoy Disney without worrying.
Yeah. All right. Before we head to the news, we have two actually episodes of Acolyte to talk about. Spoiler-free gut reaction. We're heading into the finale this week. So what do you think? Spoiler free.
I know.
I know it's hard to do spoiler free.
there's a lot of blowback on this series, but I mean, there's a lot of blowback with everything Star Wars. You can't make Star Wars fans happy.
People just hate everything.
Anyway, that aside, I've really liked what the series has done, and there's a lot of cool themes and acting and everything, but the episodes are too short and the season is too short. There's too much to wrap up in one half-hour episode.
I would feel a lot more confident if this was a 10-episode season. It is an 8-episode season.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
I am cautiously unoptimistic, I guess, for this finale.
No, I'm cautiously optimistic just because I've liked everything they've done so far.
I
know they are short episodes. Okay, let's head to the news. Disney A News Update. Minor news first. You know how they do the Disney Eats collection of like merch every month? This one is shaved ice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for July. Yeah, but we haven't done a July
It's lemon!
That's what I thought, except it's all like colorful and stuff. And of course they did the big, extra big fireworks. For the 4th. For the 4th, for that weekend. They have another new line of merch.
Which is kind of funny, because Disney's fireworks, like on a random Tuesday when they do fireworks, are better than like 90% of the 4th of July fireworks you would see. So then, I guess they would have to do something extra.
And I'm like, how do you even...
I don't know.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
I've been there on the 4th before.
Do you remember the fireworks?
I remember that they were big and over the top, but like... It was so long ago that I don't have a frame of reference for right. Speaking of new merch, there's a new line of Disneyland Hotel merchandise. This is primarily inside the Fantasia shop, which is the Disneyland Hotel one. Very cool, very retro-y kind of thing.
Yeah, Disneyland Hotel needs to embrace that retroness.
They sure are. And then the other merch that's coming out is the Halloween stuff.
Well, I mean... We're in the second week of July, so it might as well be Halloween.
May as well. Well, that's what they say starting July 5th, right? As soon as Independence Day is over.
Yeah, and it didn't... I started seeing a lot of that on my social media feeds about, like, oh, it's July 5th, now it's Halloween. I'm like, what the heck? That was my Canadian brain not putting 2 and 2 together. Big holiday, July 4th. The next big thing is Halloween.
That's right, I guess so. And other than that, there's been like reviews and stuff like that for Din Tai Fung. That's the other parks kind of thing.
That is fully open now.
It is. You cannot make reservations. You can see the menu, but you cannot make reservations through the Disneyland app. You have to make it through the Yelp page.
Okay.
Or of course do walk up. I've heard really good things though.
Good Asian food is top tier, so I would probably very much enjoy eating there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we will, but
I don't know if we will either. But I don't know. There is a lot of stuff we already have booked, and there's a couple more things that we still might book, or
I don't know. We'll see. It's all up in the air.
Do walk up. And other than that, it is July, so of course they started announcing their Christmas stuff. But we can talk about that when it gets.
Okay. Well, yeah, and then there's other stuff that they've announced.
Oh yes, so that's all for the Disney parks, right?
Yeah. No. This is for the parks.
Oh, okay.
So, Splash Mountain is being converted into Tiana's right now. It's down. Haunted Mansion is having their big overhaul to install the disability ACA compliant elevator right now. They're going to be shutting down Hungry Bear and the entire Far Critter Country entrance to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Which means it's going to be even harder to rope drop rise.
Wow. Yeah. But they've also not so happily, announced that they're going to be shutting down the Disneyland Railroad.
Yep.
And Space Mountain.
Yes, and Monorail.
And Monorail. I think that's less
Monorail,
of a time.
I think, is more like, there's, like, people don't really know what's going on with that, but they don't run it a lot when it's super hot anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think that's more the thing. And Disneyland Railroad, we knew that was coming anyway because of all that construction that's going on behind Haunted Mansion, plus through Tiana's there. We knew it was only a matter of time till that was happening.
And they also have to fix the track. That's part of why they're shutting down the railroad.
Yeah. So, but it's the one that's getting me, like, a lot is Space Mountain. Didn't
Like,
they just shut that down?
So random. They shut it down for quite a while, and they like installed a new light package that no one can even tell that they did.
Well, and they didn't fix the one thing, and they said that's why they're shutting it down this time. And I'm like, great.
Do that.
Maybe not at the same time as everything else.
So we're going at the end of August, and one of those things might be open.
Towards the end of our trip, Haunted Mansion is slated to open. There's a lot of conjecture that Haunted Mansion is going to be quietly / not so quietly opening early. Some people are hypothesizing at the same time. Like Disneyland Railroad and Matterhorn and stuff are going to be closing August, I think 5th. It's 5th. Yeah, okay. And they're like, oh, maybe that means Haunted Mansion is going to be open then. I don't know
think
about
so.
that.
It's on the calendar as being closed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, they can they can open it early. I think that they put it for opening Halloween weekend officially
because that's the drop dead.
Exactly. I wouldn't.
Pun unintended.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it did quiet opening the week before. But I think this whole talk about the end of July, beginning of August is insane.
That is way too much construction. Whoever is planning that needs to give their head a shake.
Agreed.
I am very disappointed.
I'm disappointed about the Space Mountain thing. The other stuff I was like, okay, that makes sense, but like Space Mountain is 100% avoidable right now. I can get you don't want it closed during the holidays. Halloween is your next biggest time. Like, why are you closing it leading into Halloween? Like, there's absolutely no reason to do that.
They're probably going to have it open for most of the Halloween. It just happens to be the month of August. They're planning on being slow, which will be nice, but when, like, I exaggerate by saying half the park, but it's going to feel really bad having all that down.
I don't know. I feel like I'm way more optimistic than you are, of course. I do think it's going to feel awkward, but I also think, like, by not walking by, like with Critter Country being closed and that access point being closed, it was more jarring to me at Easter when I went and you were walking by all the construction walls for Space going down into Critter Country when we went in May. Splash. Splash Mountain there, because of how big the scrims were and everything. When we went and they had closed that little area there for Critter Country, it, like, past Winnie the Pooh and stuff like that, and so you didn't walk past the part that was the worst. It felt better. We won't be walking down there at all now, so I think it won't feel... It's kind of like when all of Toontown was down. I mean, we're, like, meh on that anyway, although we do really like Mickey and Minnie's. Like, if you don't go down there, it isn't as jarring.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole. Why, they've created 2 dead ends though, so that I think that's jarring.
I think it's gonna be fun anyway.
I'm sure it'll be fun, but I can still. I'm allowed to be disappointed.
Of course you are. Of course you are, and I think that's totally. Like, it's fine to be disappointed. It's just it's really Like, it's weird enough to have both Haunted Mansion and Splash Mountain down at the same time. I maintain that Haunted Mansion was unavoidable. Like, they pushed back till they couldn't push back the time anymore. Space is 100% avoidable.
Push back Space. Then.
Yeah, Space is 100% avoidable.
Do that in February of next year or something. Like, they're fixing the lift hill with the blue wall or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's a
which is important.
Sure.
But I think it's more important to have it be running when everything else is closed.
I agree. Like, it's better to have that. And I mean, the railroad isn't, holding a lot of people or anything like that, but it still holds people, and it's still, like, there's enough things that are going to be closed where you don't take away the biggest people eater that there is. Or the most popular thing that there is.
Yeah. I think it's just Space that's bothering me the most.
Everything
else, I'm like, I can see it.
The other one is Lincoln. Lincoln is closed.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I know. But what's interesting is why it's closed. They're messing with the audio animatronics for it, and there's some conjecture that they're going to be putting Walt in.
Yeah, it's been closed for a long time, and it is what it is. I don't know.
And also we're getting information about D23 in August, which is super exciting. D23 goes from August 9th, 10th, 11th. And the parks panel is called Horizons. So we will be very curious about this.
They're calling it that because you could just barely see it. Oh, wait, is that my cynical side talking?
You're being extra cynical.
I'm
No,
I'm a little bit annoyed at Disneyland right now.
Yeah,
so
that's really sad.
They better bring it at this Horizons thing.
That sounds like a good segue to our main topic, but let's wait on that while we talk about all the movie stuff we're going to talk about.
So not at all.
Okay, movie stuff. 2 big movie things, actually. Well, 1 show, 1 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Trailers. We got 2 new trailers. And they were very exciting, both of them. One, no, I think I squealed in both of them, but one I'm like, it is the thing I'm most excited for. We got a new full trailer for Agatha All Along. And this looks actually really scary.
Yeah, so, like, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness was directed by Sam Raimi, who is well known for some horror films, and it had some horror elements, and it was kind of advertised as they were going to do some horror stuff. Agatha's going full on horror.
Yeah, no, it literally looks really scary. And lots of references. It is rated PG, and I don't know how, because the trailer seems like it's going to be way harsher than that.
Yeah, and maybe they just showed the worst parts of the horror, but WandaVision was like a send-up of sitcoms throughout the years. It looks like this is going horror throughout the years.
I think so.
Like, kind of.
Yeah. You get, like, 80s or 90s summer camp sleepover kind of thing.
For sure.
With Ouija board and, like, full-on, like, Linda Blair, like, Exorcist. Then we have...
Yeah, some true crime, detective stuff, which is
like
pretty cool.
In a morgue kind of thing.
And then you got a whole exorcist thing going on.
And I'm really enjoying all the witch kind of stuff. It comes out in September, and I'm so excited. I get more and more into Halloween and like witchy stuff every year, and this is just
very witchy.
right up my alley. So
little witchy, little Wizard of Ozzy.
Yeah, very Wizard of Oz nods. Yeah.
So yeah.
Question: do you think Wanda's coming back during this? Do you think they're resurrecting her?
Yes.
I think so too. Like that's gonna be the big bad.
I didn't think that until like it started whispering, and then this trailer's like, yeah, no, for sure.
I wouldn't say for sure.
No,
but I'm saying
it's for sure.
Okay.
It's for sure.
I think
like
I think there's gonna be like a series of big bads.
She's not gonna be in the show. She might be resurrected in a post-credit scene at the end,
right,
or something,
or she might be
but
the final.
Like she's gonna be like kind of a spirit hanging over the whole thing, but then like this is gonna lead directly into her being
I think so too,
returning to the MCU.
Yeah, I agree, which I'm so excited for.
Well, no, it's good. Like,
I think it's great.
She's a great character.
She is. And Agatha's a great character, and I think they're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Are we gonna see Ralph
Boner?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I think so.
I love Evan Peters.
Yeah, me too.
He's a great.
I adore Evan Peters.
And like when you're swerving into the horror thing, his whole history of American Horror Stories like plays into that as well.
And he's worked with Aubrey Plaza before. And so I just think he's like a natural fit to go in there, even if they weren't playing with the Ralph Boner thing. So I was like, yeah, no, swerve into the American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so excited. So that was trailer number 1. Trailer number 2 is for a movie. We got the new Captain America trailer.
We did.
And what did you think of this?
Well, this one has been a tough sell for me. Not because I dislike Sam Wilson being Captain America. I thought actually Falcon and the Winter Soldier was like a solid B action Disney Plus show, and villain issues aside, it was fun. And so I was cautiously optimistic for the movie, but they hadn't been really saying much other than that they were doing reshoots,
which didn't sound positive.
Which doesn't sound positive. But this trailer was great, and it's the first trailer in a while where I audibly let out a noise when something happened. I don't know if we want to talk.
No, I don't think. But at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
At the end, he made like a noise.
there was rumors, especially when Harrison Ford was cast, that this was going to happen, but like them like going for it in the trailer with the like the money shot of the trailer, it was a very good money shot.
So here's my question: the Marvel trailers always do this. They give you like a great shot, but then there's like something they took out. So what did they leave out?
That's another reason why I'm excited. They went for that as their money shot.
What did they leave out?
What did they leave out?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, right? So anyway, this is super fun. I'm really excited for it, and it just feels like really good Marvel. Like fun. I hope it's really good. It seems like classic Marvel.
It's a little bit more grounded. It sounds like they're going to be exploring some loose ends from like the original Incredible Edward Norton Hulk,
which is so cool.
And the Eternals.
Thank God.
The whole celestial dead celestial island that they're going to be exploring that, and they might be tying it into X-Men with adamantium. I don't know. It's all.
But
I'm
we're
much
gonna
more
take some loose ends and maybe weave some of them together.
Weave them into something. Maybe it's that's Loki at the helm.
Yeah,
weaving some stuff.
Go Loki.
I don't know.
Okay, now let's go back to that Segui to the main topic.
Terrible.
At the park. Okay, Brandon, you said you're a little disappointed in Disneyland right now. We love Disneyland.
I do, and that's why I'm disappointed.
Right, we expect high things, yeah?
It's a case of I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
I'm not as disappointed, but I get where you're coming from. So D23 is coming up, as we said in the news.
It is, yes.
The last D23 was the one they did in Florida. This is the one at home. So there's a couple things here. First of all, Disneyland is going to be celebrating its 70th birthday next year, and they're apparently starting celebrations like in the fall kind of thing. In fact, that's a big part of what they say they're when they took down Lincoln, they're going to be putting up a 70th anniversary celebration thing in the lobby area as well.
Right, because they had the 100th displays in there,
exactly.
So they're going to move that into a 70th for Disneyland.
Yeah, so they said basically they're going to let the 69th birthday, which is
nice.
Which is like next week anyway, pass, and then they're going to start into the 70th anniversary. So, or 70th birthday. So, first of all, it's going to be leading into that. It's going to be in Anaheim. It sold out immediately. Last year, the parks panel was 99% blue sky stuff.
Which is meaningless, basically. It's like...
Yeah, it's kind of fun to talk about some of the stuff, but when that's the focus, that's not good.
Yeah.
Especially when it was held in Florida. And just down the road, relatively speaking, there's a brand... So Disney has been the forerunner of theme parks, but Universal was waving at them. And now Universal is waving across to them. Because they are not from in the rearview mirror. They're across from them. Because there's a brand new Universal park opening summer 2025, if not before then.
Oh yeah, she's almost done.
Right? They'll do a month of previews or something, I'm sure. In Florida, and
it's a bigger project than Disney has done in a long time.
They say the closest thing would be Galaxy's Edge, and that wasn't a full park. So
Galaxy's Edge is not when did they build Shanghai Disneyland? That would be and that was a long time ago now. So
what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Epic Universe, because we're kind of leading into a few things this summer. We are going to once Acolyte is done, we always like to give you a week to catch up on it, and then we'll talk about Acolyte. And then we'll talk about our Disney plans and Halloween plans and things like that, and we'll of course review both leading into D23 and then after D23, but I really feel like Disney is competing with Universal here, and they're not doing that great with it.
Disney rested on their laurels as far as theme parks go, which they have good theme parks. that's fine. They were going heavy duty on movies, which they have more billion-dollar movies than any other studio, so they did well with that.
Oh, can I pause for a second? Inside Out 2 is still in theaters and doing very, very well.
Inside Out 2 is fantastic.
Just speaking of movies that they're financially doing well with.
They tried to pivot all that success in movies and cartoons and everything into streaming, because streaming, like Netflix, made streaming look very lucrative to a lot of companies. Like a lot of companies did this. Disney's probably one of the more successful at trying to compete with Netflix, but it's still a try, not actual.
The thing with the Disney parks is there was nothing like that before, and they set the standard. With streaming, they're trying to catch up to something that already existed, that was already successful.
They're trying to catch up.
It wasn't, Netflix kind of started and Disney looked and been like, I bet that's going to be a success, and then jumped on that wagon early. They waited until it was a success.
Waited,
And so they didn't, I agree. I mean, when you hear people what they subscribe to, Disney Plus is always one of the highest subscriptions in comparison to some of the other ones.
They were smart and started it off very cheap. But it's not as cheap anymore.
No.
And yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
It is tough. And all the Chapek stuff, of course, with Disney Plus aside. But anyway, so Disney Parks has kind of taken a back burner to some of the other stuff they were doing.
They have a lot of projects. So like
they do. And Disney
parks
and cruise lines is the other thing.
That's what I was gonna. Parks, movies, streaming. They're one pillar, which is kind of rolled in. They actually keep it with parks. They call it the experiences.
Yes.
Is the cruise lines, and that is very, very successful. It is going great guns. They're just building new ships all the time, and they're making money hand over fist on that. And we've
had a couple episodes, one where we were looking at the past ones and one where we were looking at new ones coming. And as more come, we'll keep talking about that, of course. But
so that's a positive for
it is, and looking at it like from a logic big company perspective, I see why they've rested back, because no one's been able to catch them, and up until now, and they. Like the Disney parks, with the exception, of course, COVID concerns, but that affected everything. It's like solid.
Yeah.
Like
it makes money to this day. It makes money.
It makes money. Like it's solid, and you can complain about things like the reservation system. We don't mind it, of course, and Genie Plus and all the changes with that or whatever. But it is a solid source of income. Merch is a solid source of income. Food is a solid source of income. Admissions, all that stuff is solid. They can rely on it, so they haven't really worried about it too much. They put all the money into Galaxy's Edge. They did what they could in Disneyland anyway with Avengers Campus. They've done a couple updates in Disney World. Of course, Tokyo Disney is its own animal. They've updated things here and there, but other than that, they just kind of like rested back. Meanwhile, Universal's
like, hey, maybe we could get on the level of Disney. Their first forays into that has been the Harry Potter immersive lands.
Yeah, which is it's really interesting going to Universal in Hollywood, because they have a small little parcel of land, and it was never intended to be that kind of theme park.
Yeah, so Universal Hollywood, and like that's where it started, and it started off as a studio tour, which is actually what Walt wanted for Disneyland originally.
It's true.
So that's what Universal Hollywood kind of revolves around. You got the tram tour, and that's actually very cool. And,
I really like the tram
then
tour.
The theme park itself is kind of secondary.
And they do what they can.
They do what they can with the space they have. And the Harry Potter land, which is the newest expansion there. Oh, well, no, it's not anymore because they built the Super Mario.
Yes.
But it was.
It was the thing that started.
It's the thing that started their transition into being Disney-esque immersive.
Yes, the immersive idea.
Because Universal was never really immersive. It was a studio tour with some attractions sprinkled throughout
that were themed to the movies that you
not worrying about sight lines, not worrying about like the paths or the garbage cans or like Disney level of attention to detail.
Yes.
they've changed that.
Totally. And Hollywood has changed it less than Florida, of course. I mean, Florida, it has its own things about construction and all that other stuff. But Hollywood is like working with a smaller space, and they're kind of like shoehorning stuff in. We have the Harry Potter land. We now have the Nintendo area, which we're going to be seeing in August. I'm so excited. But even things like they tried to put in Springfield. When we went before, it was like a couple little things, and now they're like, and then we noticed they're trying to make like a Springfield area. And now, of course, they're probably going to be removing all that, but they're trying to do more lands and more themes and things like that. But the latest, and everything we hear about Universal, there's more and more and more stuff coming out in different places and different experiences. But the biggest thing is Epic Universe.
Yeah, so they're building a brand new park. There's going to be 3 parks in Florida to compete with Disney's 4 parks in Florida. But I would say that the 3 parks are probably going to be roughly the same size as the 4 parks in Disney. So I just in the spring, I was actually just at Universal. The original Universal Studios Florida is probably closer to Hollywood in like the level of theming. There's a little bit more, maybe.
You can tell it was the original.
You can tell it's the original. They kind of like chop up pieces of the tram tour and make them into rides. Like there's a standalone King Kong and a standalone Fast and the Furious ride and stuff like that. They look like the ride vehicle you get on looks like a tram.
Right.
So whatever. That's fine. They have more thrill rides.
Yes.
Islands of Adventure was the second part built there, and that also kind of leaned into the theming aspect. Myth area of it is kind of sad and pathetic now because they've closed a lot of the stuff, but it's quite well themed. The Jurassic Park area is amazing. It feels like you are in Jurassic Park.
That's really cool.
Especially now with the new roller coaster.
Right.
But they have the raft ride. It's the same raft ride that used to be in California, the original. It's the original Jurassic Park. But you have the visitor center, and like you walk up to it, and it's the visitor center really cool. from the movie. Yeah. And like it's very, very cool. You walk, and it's like a gift shop. But you go in there, and like they have the dinosaur bones hanging from the ceiling, and you walk down the stairs, and they actually have like almost like Science Center interactive exhibits in there, like it would be a Discovery Center in a park for Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So very, 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 very cool.
Yeah. So they figured out the theming.
They got the theming. So like your step 1, Universal Studios Florida. Step 2, Islands of Adventure. More thrill, bigger roller coasters. Now they are making the 3rd park from the ground up with the eye of being completely immersive all the way through.
So I want to explain something though. Like you keep talking about thrill, and I know thrill is very important to you, but thrill is not super important to Disney. So if we're talking about Universal competing with Disney, they can look at it and be like, hey, we can like tap into that thrill a little bit, but like it's them trying to do it in an immersive way. And you're saying like in Islands of Adventure, they were like figuring it out. But because Epic Universe, they're planning it all around that. Makes a huge difference.
Yeah, so
we're gonna
they have a wider range of attractions. They have massive roller coasters, and they have kid rides.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't mix as well. Islands of Adventure is kind of hit and miss. They have a Seuss land that's very kiddie friendly, and then the Superhero Land that has a big roller coaster and then like a Spider-Man ride and whatever. But I think from what we're going to talk about each land, I think they've hit the right mix.
I hope so,
with
because
Epic Universe.
The biggest complaint that I hear from like casual Disney fans, I'm not talking about your like, I'm gonna like Disney more than Universal no matter what. Like I just am.
Disney fans are are biased to
yes,
Disney.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like your average thing is if you don't like thrill rides and you're going to Universal, you're like, okay, well now I'm done.
Yeah, and that's a fair argument. Yeah.
So, but with Epic Universe, we need to go through each land here. So that's what we're gonna do. I have the official website open.
Okay. So the whole concept now, and this in itself is like crazy because there's a concept for a park. The idea is you're going through these portals to go to each land. It's almost like being in a video game with like you have a hub world,
right?
And then you enter the portals and you go to
each
land. And
so, the portals themselves are very cool,
very, very,
which we'll talk about.
Well themed. So you enter the main gate and you go through a portal.
Yeah. So before we even do that, I wanted to tell you what the slogan here is.
Okay.
Because it's very important. Because we're talking about how they're figuring out theming and immersion. Literally, its slogan is 5 immersive worlds. Or like its planning slogan. 5 immersive worlds, 1 amazing theme park. They're like, that tells you how important the immersion is. Right off the bat. Like
right.
That's
it's
front and center.
Immersive.
Yeah.
The key word there is immersive.
Exactly. Okay. So you go through the main portal.
So you go through the main portal and you enter Celestial Park.
Celestial Park, which I've got here, and it says, step into a lush green world where thrills, entertainment, dining, and shopping lead all who enter on an exhilarating journey of discovery. So Celestial Park is very like constellation-y focused.
It's kind of like an ethereal, spacey themed Central Park.
You're very excited because it has this massive roller coaster they're building.
That is the ride I'm like most excited for, just from a ride perspective. Maybe not a theming perspective, but it looks like an amazing ride.
It looks like it'll be fun at night. For me to watch. I'm never going on it.
It's a massive, massive roller coaster, and the newest roller coaster that they built at Universal before this was Velocicoaster, which is another massive coaster, and it's my favorite ride that I've ever been on. So I'm excited to see what they do next,
kind of thing. Yeah, fair enough. They also have things like the entire thing we said is very constellation focused, but this is a hub. So even the fact that they're planning a hub.
Yeah, here, it's a hub, but it's built like a park. They have a big lagoon and lots of restaurants and like a little merry-go-round.
Yes, and like it has the swings and things like that. Stardust Racers is the name of the roller coaster. The Constellation Carousel. There's an undersea adventure in fine dining, which is the Atlantic restaurant. And then there's like stores.
Yeah, so the dining place is gonna feel, I think, a lot like Lamplight Lounge,
probably,
because it's like on the lagoon and stuff like that. So that's cool. Mostly the roller coaster.
Well, yeah, but the big thing is then there's
so
that's the main portal. Yep. Yeah, it takes you to the hub, and then there's different theme portals where the route is the same. Sometimes literally, because sometimes they have roots growing up over them, and then the portal itself is themed. So where do you want to start?
Let's go around in a clockwise circle, starting from the bottom left, which is Super Nintendo Land.
Yes. Oh my God.
I can see the map in my head. That's how excited I am for this park, actually. Okay.
So Super Nintendo World, this is why they didn't put a Nintendo World into the existing Universal, and why why Universal Hollywood got one first is because they're like, we can do this bigger.
Bigger and better and Donkey Kongier.
Yes. So essentially, the ride I'm most excited for is in this land. But this is not the land I'm most excited for.
No.
But the ride I'm most excited for is in this land. So you have what is essentially the one that exists in Hollywood
and Japan.
Japan, yeah, that's its root.
So it's closer in size and shape to the one that's in Japan.
Yes,
they have the Mario Kart ride.
Yes.
They have a big Peach's Castle. They have a big Bowser's
focus on the power bands and
all. Yeah. It's the same power band games as you got. And they have the Yoshi ride that's only in Japan right now.
Yeah, which is kind of like what are we likening that to?
It's like a people mover.
Kinda, yeah.
No, it's a people mover.
But you're in Yoshi's.
You're in Yoshi's.
So like that's very similar, but there's basically 2 lands in this land. There's a land 1A and 1B.
Yeah, so the main land is your regular Super Nintendo land that's all Mario themed, and you got all that. But then there's this little sub portal that takes you to Donkey Kong Country.
Oh my God, I'm so excited! The thing I'm most excited for, I loved Donkey Kong Country.
And that is what this land I don't even know if it's called Donkey Kong Country, but it should be because it's themed after
I actually think it might be
that game.
the family roller coaster, they actually invented like a new way to do this. It looks like you're on the broken tracks, like if you were on minecart.
This is the roller coaster that I designed in my head when I was 5 years old. Like,
totally, you're basically sitting in what looks like minecarts. It looks like you're jumping tracks. It looks like you're getting shot out of a barrel. But what happens is there's an arm, and this is actually cool. Like, go on YouTube and look this up. But there's an arm that attaches the car to the actual track that is hidden beneath. So it looks like you're doing all these crazy things, but you're really just on like a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's on a roller, and it's like not the most intense roller coaster.
No, it's definitely like family roller coaster.
Super themed.
Exactly, and this is where it's getting me, because I'm still gonna love Disney more just because I'm that person, but the number one thing I love about Disney is the theming. Like, we can hang out in Disneyland and be very happy and go on an occasional ride or whatever. And we're ride people. So things like, well, also thrills aren't super important to me. So things like Six Flags and stuff is like whatever.
Yes, Six Flags is on one end of the spectrum for theming.
Yeah.
None. Basically, they slap on a Superman logo on the front of the roller coaster or whatever, but no theming.
None.
Universal was kind of like in the middle,
right?
And Disney was on the far right hand side of like mega theme.
So stuff like this is what's going like, hey, we're heading towards that mega theming, or we're actually going to be. Right now, it looks like we are in the mega theming, or we're going to be in the mega theming.
Epic Universe is more themed than any, like, the Star Wars land
would be the closest.
Was like, it's very themed, but they backed off of what their like high ambitions were.
I think each land is going to be themed to the same level of the Star Wars is probably.
But in an all-in-one package, it adds up to more.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and I think this Donkey Kong area is going to.
Yeah, and then the other things in Donkey Kong, they have like a Funky Kong, the plane from Donkey Kong Country, and like Donkey Kong's like treehouse hut and all that, and there's more power band games, and like you collect bananas or whatever.
Right, but the big thing is this
the roller coaster. Yeah, the minecart roller coaster is fantastic.
Okay, so we're leaving Super Nintendo World. What's next?
Wow, okay, so you might want to leave this for last, because that would be next.
Oh, my favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's leave it for last.
Let's jump over there.
Let's jump over.
You know what? We don't want to go there till nighttime anyway.
Yeah, it's a nighttime attraction.
Right.
No, let's talk about the hotel. There's a hotel at the back of the park.
Yep, which is technically in the park.
It's in the park.
Not connected to the park, because there's two other hotels being built that are like park hotels.
Just like kind of across the street,
but there's one actually in the park.
It's, the lobby doors open up and then you're in the park. So that's cool. It's called the Grand Helios Hotel. It's absolutely massive, and also probably an absolutely massive price to stay there, but it looks fantastic. Maybe we can have a drink on their rooftop bar.
Maybe
I don't know.
But you know what, we might stay at one of the other ones that's connected.
The other ones, because I stayed on on property quote unquote hotel when I was there, and it was quite reasonable actually.
So we'll see, because this one's of course going to be new and blah blah blah. But so there's one, and that's a really big deal. It's literally in there. Okay, lands. What's the next land?
Harry Potter.
So Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at the Ministry of Magic. This one takes you from 1920s Paris to the 1990s British Ministry, explore international wizarding communities and the magic that connects them.
So this one, if I was ranking them of the 5 lands, would be number 5, like at the bottom.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, and this one ran into some speed bumps because the planning stage of this would have started very early on.
Yeah, of course.
And it's heavily influenced by the Fantastic Beasts series, because it's taking place in that time period in Paris, just like the movies. And the Fantastic Beasts series was not very well received.
That's a good way to say it. Yep.
So it's running into some problems there. They're mitigating that by pivoting to having the main attraction be Harry Potter
yeah,
themed.
Yeah, the Ministry of Magic, yeah.
So that's fine. I don't know. We'll see. The theming looks great. They're building a full-on Paris with some like really cool.
There's some really cool
forced perspective stuff, and it it looks huge.
Every time I go to
the scaling of it is massive.
Every time we look at something like this, or every time, like when we went to Universal last time and we were in the Harry Potter land, I was like, I wish I liked Harry Potter more. And then of course we have our own opinions about Rowling and everything like that in the world.
That aside, like
but like the theming and stuff here looks really cool.
Yeah.
So like I'm totally gonna give it a chance. But I agree with you when I'm ranking like top things. I also think that they're beating the Harry Potter horse a little too much here. You have a Harry Potter land in each of the other lands.
There's a massive
massive
Harry Potter land in every single Universal park now because that's their bread and butter IP. And there's some really cool stuff, but maybe a little bit of a dead horse.
Yeah,
I Thestral, I believe they call them.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's true. Nicely done. I do think the theming, and I think this is a cool way to do it. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they do it. Okay, so we did that. Do we want to head to the other kiddie style one?
Yeah. So just to wrap up on Harry Potter, the big ride, the Ministry of Magic ride, the ride system's still a bit of a mystery, actually, and so that's the most intriguing thing about this. I hope that they don't rely too much on screens.
Yeah, that's my big problem.
Because in Hollywood they have lots of screens just for size reasons, but in Florida they actually had a lot of screens.
That's what you were saying, and I found that so disappointing because, like, when we went to Hollywood before, granted, Nintendo World wasn't open at the time. We went there and we like equivalent of rope dropped, and we did the first like lighting show on Hogwarts. Yep. And then we left. Before the park opened.
It wasn't closed.
It wasn't closed, and we rode everything that we wanted to multiple times. But I was like, there are some things I'm like, I can't go on this again because there's so many screens, and I get motion sick. To be fair.
Yeah. Like Transformers is the worst offender.
We only rode that one once. No, did we ride that one twice?
No, I think we only rode it once.
Because I was like, can't do it.
I do not get motion sick, but that did not make me feel good.
Yeah, no. Whereas I was like, if you want to ride it again, I need a minute here.
So I'm hoping that they don't rely too much on screens because the two Harry Potter rides that do the big ones that exist, the one that's in Hollywood, the one that's in Hogwarts, whatever that's called, the Forbidden Journey. It's the same in Florida.
Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah.
It's not as much screens as the Escape from Gringotts.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me.
That was very disappointing to me because
too bad. It looks so cool.
It was all screens and like
what a waste.
It was such a waste. Anyway, so I'm hoping it's better than Escape from Gringotts.
Right. More in line of Forbidden Journey. So we rode Forbidden Journey a lot when we went in Hollywood, and the last time we rode it was 3 times back to back, and then after that I was like, I need to tap out. Like, there's too many screens here, and I'm getting flipped around a lot. And
that one has more practical effects than screens. The screens can make you a little queasy. I actually rode Forbidden Journey right after chugging an entire Slurpee. Icy, I think they're the ices, because when you get the unlimited drink package at Universal, you can actually get ices in them. And I had a whole one, and then went on the ride.
And that was maybe not the best life choice.
Didn't feel that great. I felt like a gin martini shaken not stirred kind of thing, but in my stomach.
That is my default on these rides.
So I'm hoping it's better.
So let's head to a completely new land now, the Isle of Berk.
So this is like going to be your quote unquote kiddie land.
Ish, yeah, heavy on the ish.
It's
the theming is kiddie.
It's themed after a children's movie series, How to Train Your Dragon. And the rides there are mostly kiddie rides, but there's still a strong element of thrill there.
Yep.
So there's
do you want me to walk you through them?
Yeah, there's 3 rides.
So there's I think it's considered listed as a family coaster, but there's Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and that's just take a coaster ride on Hiccup's Wing Gliders.
And there's the idea with that ride is that Hiccup, the main character from How to Train Your Dragon, has built this dragon training simulator, like homemade rickety thing that's like hand cranked or something, and then you like practice flying your dragon.
I think that's the Dragon Racers Rally.
Oh.
No, this is like a coaster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the rally.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
The rally's the one that's the arm.
The coaster's like a wooden dragon that you're like pretending to fly, and it's hand cranked. There's like you can see a themed thing. Like we've seen this.
So the thing that looks really cool with this is the way the track is the thing I want to talk about with this one, because the track looks like dragon scales.
Well, so roller coasters have like safety nettings to prevent flying objects from the roller coaster and also from people throwing things.
Yeah.
And this one, they look like dragon scales or wings even.
Yeah,
almost.
Maybe wings might be a better way to say.
And that's cool. Like you need those netting anyway, so you might as well theme them up. But yeah, you're practicing flying your fake dragon is the idea.
The other practice flying is it specifically says hold on tight and practice aerobatic maneuvers on a Viking-made dragon riding trainer.
Yeah, so this is a flat ride. They have
this is the Dragon Racers Rally.
They have similar ones elsewhere, and it's a spinning arm ride that you can control how much your individual.
And this looks pretty thrilling. I don't think I'd like it. It seems going around and around and around.
You could probably control it enough that you would be able to ride it once. Like, I think you should try it once.
Once with some gravel in me.
I might make it like spin a little bit more than you,
right.
and, like, because you can control how, like you push your wings up and down to how much you spin.
Okay, that would help.
Which is cool, but it's a flat ride, like whatever.
We also have the big show in this one. It is the Untrainable Dragon. There's a new dragon that shows up at and it presents a challenge to Hiccup, Gobber, and Astrid in this live show. And the effects that they look like they have for this is pretty cool. Pretty cool practical effects, including, of course, a flying dragon.
And a good show is awesome. That's something that, again, we're talking about comparing to Disney. This is a Disney podcast. Something that Disney has fall apart. Like the Royal Theater in Disney is completely dead.
Well, it's currently shut down. It had stuff going until I think May, and then it shut down.
Yeah. So,
but now it is. Yeah, like it's Pixar stuff going right now, and there's no word on no
word of anything happening there. And then the Hyperion Theater in DCA is closed down. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're doing for shows in Disney World. I think the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular is still going on. Maybe, I don't know.
But they're actually reducing shows in Disneyland.
Yeah,
things like some of the Marvel shows are being reduced. The Dora Milaje, for example.
DCA, like the Marvel Avengers
Doctor Strange.
Avengers Campus was like a lot focused on shows because that's what they had room for. And like pop-up shows, and they're pulling way back on that, and it's very disappointing.
It is. I've heard a lot of conjecture as to why that is. It comes down to money, but I've heard a lot of conjecture as to why that is, and it's not positive, of course. So
the Performers Guild unionized is
that's
the long and the short of it, and that was. Turns out capitalist companies don't like unions. Whoa. What? Yeah.
The other attraction here, back to How to Train Your Dragon, is Fire Drill, and that is a watery boat battle where teams of Vikings compete to outscore and outsoak each other. It's like a water shooting game ride.
Shooting rides are super fun. Water rides are super fun.
They're like, hey, we're in Florida. Let's cool down.
And yes, that is what you have to remember. It is Florida. I was there in March, and it was still quite warm. I could not imagine being there in the summertime.
No kidding.
There, you could tell, like, especially Islands of Adventure, the superhero land, and it was a comic book land, so they had
right.
That's where Dudley Do-Right was, and Popeyes was closed, but it was all set up. There was lots of water stuff that you could just walk by and spray yourself.
Because they just are.
Because you need to be able to cool down.
Yep. And then the last thing is there's a Viking training camp, and this is like the Redwood Challenge.
Yeah, a little walkthrough type of thing.
Yeah, like an obstacle course kind of thing. And then there's a really cool restaurant.
Very cool restaurant. I like, you kind of like a big mead hall.
That's what it is, literally called Mead Hall.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It
says, come eat and drink like a Viking at Mead Hall.
Can I smash my cup on the ground and say, another?
No.
Oh.
A hearty menu of meats, fish, and drinks, including meads, ciders, and ales.
Cool. I'm actually shockingly excited for how to, like,
me too.
If you had just told me, like, whoa, we're gonna build a How to Train Your Dragon land, I'd be like, really? Not that those movies are fine.
But like,
I think they're actually better than they have any right to be.
Yeah.
But not something I'd be super excited for, to have a whole theme park land designed
you're
around.
Like, oh, but the theming is so cool.
Every single thing I've seen from this is the theming is next level.
Yeah.
Like, the colors are amazing.
Great.
Just the attention to detail, the lagoon that they're having, it looks like you're in the movie. And there's rumors that they're going to be using drones to simulate flying dragons.
That's insane. That is so cool.
So cool. Wow.
Speaking of wow and theming, we have talked about 4 out of the 5 lands.
We have.
The one I am most excited for. It's nighttime now. We left Mead Hall.
Yeah, and we had a couple of meads and ales, and we're ready.
We're ready. We're gonna walk through the hub to get back to.
This is Universal exploiting the one advantage they had on Disney.
Yeah, up to this point.
Halloween time, they go all out at all their parks.
The horror nights.
For the horror nights. Universal monsters are a thing. They've tried to use them with varying degrees of success.
Yeah, but they're classic.
They are classic, and they are embracing the classicness of them rather than trying to have Tom Cruise reinvent them. So the 5th park is called Dark Universe.
Dark Universe.
Which may be familiar to you if you tried their abortive cinematic universe they tried to make with Tom Cruise and all that, where they were going to have a bunch of movies that were all Universal monsters themed. This one is going to be a lot better than that.
From the experiments of Victoria Frankenstein to a twisted landscape where monsters roam, Dark Universe is a grim world of myth and mystery. So we left Mead Hall. It's kind of dark. There, you go through the portal, which looks like it is like Dr. Frankenstein's tower trying to collect the lightning.
And like a creepy tree and all this stuff.
With the roots literally coming up. You have old cobblestone and gravestones like lining the pathways. And then we left Mead Hall, and Mead Hall was pretty impressive. But let's head to the dining establishment thing here, because it's a windmill, which is like pretty cool, right? Like working windmill. Oh, except it's also on fire. They literally have the blades of the windmill on fire.
The burning blade.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm getting ahead. Okay, I'm really excited for this one.
And that's directly from the original Frankenstein movie, where the windmill gets set on fire, and that kind of sets off Frankenstein on his misunderstood rampage, I guess, right? So,
right.
They're going to be tying in Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yep. It's all there.
The entire thing is called Darkmoor Village, and a big part of this is the creatures that are going to be walking around,
which they do very well. Like even in Universal Studios Florida, they have some classic monsters walking around. They have like the Hollywood makeup show. They're going to be doing it's almost like an adult version of Bibbidi Boppidi Boutique, where you can get made up like to look like a monster.
Which is insane.
Which is really cool. I don't know if I would ever do it, but I think it's really cool.
Depends on how much it costs, whether or not I would do it. This is just fun fact. over 6,500 different lighting elements bring to life only in the Dark Moors, like Dark Universe history. All fixtures were, many fixtures were custom designed and fabricated, really focusing on vampires and scientists. Basically the idea is you have unusual inhabitants, some that are well known to you, some who are not. In some of the artist renderings, for example, there's like a witchy kind of ghoul woman who like stands on the edge playing the violin of like down a street and stuff.
That's really cool.
Like, it's just that whole very immersive
and there's probably some Van Helsing influence in there and stuff like that. So
okay, so attractions. All right, we've got the big one is Monsters Unchained: The Frankenstein Experiment. Dr. Victoria Frankenstein puts you in the midst of an angry revolt of fiendish monsters. This one seems very screenish.
No, I would say not. It's actually supposedly the same ride system as Forbidden Journey.
What,
like
really?
An arm vehicle that twists around. Oh. But how Forbidden Journey had the practical scenes and the screens, this one is like supposedly 90% practical scenes.
Even better.
So, and like apparently next level, like they're going for it.
Excited. There's also Curse of the Werewolf. It's considered a family coaster, but it's a spinning one, and this is werewolf themed, obviously.
And a kind of a slingshot launch where it goes back and forth a couple times.
I'm really worried about getting sick on this. I said, like, I'm gonna have to time this right with food. Like, we might need to go to it midday before I've been like eating some stuff or whatever.
And like,
and then
some
like
Gravol
then we'll come
or
back
something.
at nighttime or something. You already talked about the monster makeup experience, and it says it transforms customers into werewolves, vampires, mummies, and more. But that's its like starting point.
And it's not for kids. It's for adults.
Oh yeah, well I mean I'm sure kids can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. There's Das Steakhouse, steak.
Spelt Steak.
Yeah. Of course, very vampire themed. In the concept art, the candelabras look like they're dripping blood.
Perfect.
And then you already talked about the Burning Blade Tavern. This is just... I'm
very excited to spend some nighttime here. The only problem is...
Us and everyone else.
Well, us and everyone else. Universal Parks close surprisingly early.
Is that true during all year?
Yeah. I think the latest that Universal Parks are open is 10 p.m.
Yeah, that is too bad.
So maybe during Halloween, like they'll have horror nights in Darkmoor, but
that doesn't benefit us at all.
No, it's well, it could.
No, well, that's true. Down the road. So this opens summer 2025.
Well, it says 2025. They haven't actually pegged a season.
Okay. It's going to open summer 2025.
I would say probably late spring 2025.
Yeah, be ready, be open for. When do you want to go?
Summer 2026. Although, if you had the means to go to Florida in summer 2025, the other two Universal Parks are probably going to be a free pass on your bingo card.
Right. That's basically what I wanted to talk about, right?
And they're no slouches. Like, I liked them.
There's a bunch of construction going on at some of them, too. Like, they're updating, is my point.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we can complain about Disney being under construction, but at least they're updating and, like, keeping up stuff and not letting it fall apart. Just plan better as to when. Okay, so I think it's clear to say we are very excited for Epic Universe.
I am extremely excied for Epic Universe.
I said, I want to sit down and start watching all these old classic horror, monster movies.
Classic monster movies are very, very cool.
I've read the books, of course.
And some of those books are very good.
Yeah.
Like Dracula and Frankenstein is an amazing book.
It's so good.
Dracula is probably a little bit drier than you would expect,
Dracula.
but it's good. But Frankenstein's a very easy, quick read, and it
well, she was 19 when she wrote it at a party. So,
yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, Frankenstein.
It's good.
If you haven't read those two, we recommend reading them.
And then the old movies are classics, and if you want to see the original Team Up movie, you could watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That has all the classic Universal monsters in it.
Let's watch that this Halloween. Can we watch that this Halloween, actually?
I would really like that.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, deal. Any final thoughts about Epic Universe other than we're really excited? Oh, you can watch like the building of and updates and everything like that on YouTube.
The one I would recommend is Theme Park Stop.
Yes, that's when we watch.
They have almost weekly updates on it. They have very good aerial shots from BioReconstruct. That's on Twitter. He has really good drone footage. I assume it's drone footage. I don't know the legalities of that.
No.
Although the airspace over Universal is much less controlled because there was helicopters going over all the time.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Theme Park Stop is very good.
Yeah.
She has a very good breakdown of everything, and like.
And not only that, now that Universal itself has started releasing like the promos and stuff like that, they also break those down to like line it all up.
And Universal actually has opened the Epic Universe preview store, which has a bunch of preview merch as well as a scale model.
So cool.
That takes up like
insane.
Most of the store.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's so detailed and has like AR stuff with your app. You can look at it and it
like the burning blade.
It's so cool. So yeah, check out YouTube. I don't know.
Theme Park Stop being the big one. That was the one I wanted to recommend. Because they kind of compare the artist renderings as well with like the current footage.
Artist renderings.
The details.
The current footage and even like your permits that are filed to like give you a clue on what actually is going on. Very thorough and very well done.
Yeah, we like YouTube coverage for things, but this is a really good one, and this has basically been our exclusive Epic Universe information source, just because it's better than all the other ones that we keep looking at.
It's fantastic, and I feel like I know more than I should about a theme park that hasn't opened yet. So,
and that we're not going to be going to like on opening day or anything like that. Like,
I will be there in spirit though.
Oh, we're going to be watching all the stuff. Like, I'm not avoiding spoilers. For this.
No.
Okay.
No, I can't.
No. Okay. Anything else to add on this one?
I want to go though.
Well, like we can try and sneak in a little trip. Anything's possible if you just believe.
Our next summer is booked.
With awesome stuff.
It's great. It's just...
Yeah, it's hard to sneak in another thing.
There's no Frankenstein. Probably for a good reason. For the best. I don't know. But I am very much looking forward to when we get the opportunity to go.
It's also fun, like, let it open for a bit, let it figure some stuff out. Yeah. So that's our show this week. Thank you, Emil, who's responsible for the custom theme song you heard at the top of the show. You can find a link to his work at our website at disneya.wixsite.com/podcast. And that's also where you can find a link to our social media accounts and to our email. You can find Disney A episodes on all of your favorite podcast streaming platforms. If you rated or reviewed our podcast, thank you. And if you haven't yet, please do. And if you know someone who might like listening to us, please be sure to recommend Disney A as well.
And as far as podcast streaming platforms go, the new kid on the block is YouTube Music.
We're on YouTube Music.
Yes, because Google Podcast shut down in favor of YouTube Music, which is like a combination of Spotify and Google Podcasts type of thing. So there you go.
We're still on Spotify, though.
We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and blah, blah, blah.
We're on all the things, but we are now on YouTube Music as of the last month or so.
That's just Google consolidating their platforms. So there you go.
So I'm Krysta.
And I'm Brandon.
And until the next adventure, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Thanks for listening to Disney A.